Hello, today I'm going to be showing how to create a automatic drone delivery system that docks with a rover, much like the one in the Space Engineers trailer. This will be a mining vehicle that will store the ore in a container in the back, that when the container gets full, it will take off and drop the ore off at a base or something, and then it will come back and land on it. So that's the basic premise. So with a problem like this, I like to break it down into multiple steps. Step 1 is going to be, and you can just think of this in order sequence. So step 1 is, so the initial condition is ship is docked with truck. The cargo is, if cargo becomes 90% full or greater, go to or drop off at base. Okay, step 2 is, we'll say initial condition is traveling to or drop off at base. When we reach last waypoint, collect and drain. Okay. Step 3, initial condition is unloading ore at base. And because we're using a timer block, after 10 seconds, return to ship. Return to truck. Step 4, initial condition is traveling to truck. When final waypoint reached, dock with truck. Alright, so we have 4 steps, which basically mean we have 4 transitions to make, which also means we have 4 timer blocks to have. So this is the best way to think about it. Anytime you make a transition between doing something, you want to activate a timer block. Okay, so we have 4 transitions. One is transitioning from the ship is docked with the truck to the ship is traveling to the base. Then the second transition is the ship is traveling to the base and it reaches the base and starts unloading the ore. The third transition is it starts unloading and it transitions to returning to the truck. And the final transition is it's traveling back to the truck and it has to dock with the truck. So each transition is a timer block. So right now, if we try mining, just get a little bit, just a little bit. So then if we look at our inventory, we can see that the drills are empty and everything's being passed to this large cargo container. Great. Great. So the first thing we need is this event controller. And we'll come in here and change it up. So first we're going to rename our large cargo container to be ship. This one doesn't matter, but we're going to call it truck. So event controller, and we're just going to name it cargo full. First thing that we have, cargo filled percentage equal or greater than, and we'll say we're going to make this tiny just to showcase how this works. And we're going to say that large cargo container ship. Alright. So we'll select an action once we get to it, but the next thing is going to be AI recorder, and we're going to rename this to be, we're just going to say drop off ore. That's it for now. Timer block. So for the timer block, this is going to be undock. And so what's going to happen here is I'm going to rename this connector 2, connector ship. This is connector truck. Alright. So first we start with the timer block. This is going to be undock. We don't need to worry about this because we're going to trigger it anyway. So let's set up actions. And so what I'm showing you is the event block. The event controller is going to trigger this timer block. So the timer block has to do a few things. First, we're going to turn the thrusters on. Because presumably they will be off. We'll get to that in the end. The next thing is we want to unlock the connector, and then we want to turn on our AI recorder. So we're gonna hit play. Now this is showing play on off, which is a toggle, which unfortunately is the only option we have. Ideally it would just be, we could choose play on, but we can't. So if AI behavior is off and we turn play to on, it will turn AI behavior on. But I don't think it toggles the block on or off, so we need to make sure that the block is on all the time. AI behavior on or off, that doesn't matter, because as soon as we hit play, it's going to turn it on. Alright. Okay, I think that's it for that. So now we can come to the event controller, select actions. We're going to find the timer block, undock, and we're going to say trigger now. So the reason we're using a timer block is because, as you can see, we only have 2 slots over here, and actually it looks like we have more, we can do more with it, but I think using a timer block is easier to understand. So if we go through the process right now, we have an event controller that looks for the cargo to be equal or greater than 10%. When it is, it will trigger this timer block to undock. And if we go to that timer block, its actions are turn on the thrusters, disconnect, and then start the AI recorder. So the next step is to set up the waypoints on the AI recorder. I need to do this manually, so we're going to undock, turn on the thrusters. We want to go back over to this base. The next thing that we need to do is set up the waypoints for the for the AI recorder, so usually when you set up waypoints with an AI recorder, you want to make sure you select a reference beacon. So I'm going to select Mars Easy Station. In this case, it doesn't matter too much because it's a station. It's not going to move. So I'm referencing something that doesn't move, so it might as well be world space coordinates. But anyway, we're going to... Well, we don't need that selected. We want to show the path on the HUD. We want to show on HUD. We want to come to Info, show AI functions. And to make this easier for us, I'm gonna make a button for add waypoint. So I'm gonna come over here, AI recorder, add waypoint. And right now I'm seeing other waypoints from other stuff that I was doing earlier. So when this leaves the truck, ideally the first thing you want to do is kind of move vertically, move straight up. And I'm going to be doing this more simply by just saying that the next waypoint it goes to will be like pretty high up above this station. So something like here. So this is going to be the first waypoint it goes to. And usually what I've noticed is in Space Engineers with this update, when a ship goes to a waypoint on a planet in P-gravity, the first thing it does is it tries to go to the same altitude, and then it will kind of traverse laterally. So the hope is that it just goes up first after leaving the truck. So we come here, we're going to hit 5, add waypoint. We've set a waypoint. It's invisible right now because it's a little buggy still. We're going to come over here. We're going to hit 5, so we're going to add a second waypoint. And then we're going to add a third waypoint down here. Something like centered over it. Something like that should be fine. So now we're going to hit 5. So now we have 3 waypoints. So what we want to do now is say small connector. We want to say collect all and throw out. So step 2, add another timer block. So this timer block, this is going to be drop or. So what this is going to do is it's going to tell the small connector to collect all. Yeah, unfortunately these are all toggles, they're not discrete. So we're going to say collect all, and then we're going to say throw out. And hopefully that will start collecting the ore and throwing it out. And then the next thing it's going to do is it's going to trigger another timer block. And this one is going to be return to truck. And this one is going to kind of it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to collect all off, throw out off, and then it's going to do another AI recorder. So we need another AI recorder. And I'm going to put this right over the first one so that it's centered over the connector. It's going to be important when we dock with the ship again. So we come back here, AI recorder, we're going to rename this docked truck. Okay, and this is important. We want to Oh, that's the wrong truck. Alright, so we have to add a beacon to this truck. We're going to add a beacon to this. Just going to stuff it in there. And we're going to go in here to beacon, and I'm just going to call it new truck. Okay, so now we can come back to this guy. And we want to go to the AI recorder, dock to truck. We want to say in reference to new truck. Click that, make sure it's selected. And we're gonna show path on HUD and show on HUD. Okay. And then to make it easier, we'll go to dock to truck. Add waypoints, and now it's 7. And I think we can just get rid of this because we don't need it. Alright, so same thing as before. The first thing we want to do is basically go up above the truck, just so the first thing that the ship does is fly straight up and then over to the truck. And you can see the path of the other truck as well. We're going to be doing something similar to that. So I'm going to go actually a little bit behind it. Something like here. 7, which will add our waypoint. Add waypoint 0. Then we're going to come down. And we're going to come down so that we're as perfectly behind it as possible. And we're going to be slightly above it. Doesn't matter too critically, but we don't want to be like at it or below because we might hit the connector off of it. We want to be slightly up. Something like that. So waypoint 7. And this is going to be important. What you want to do is turn the connector off so that it doesn't interfere with the waypoint creation. You want to come up and you want to make sure you're aligned with the truck. In this case, the truck isn't on flat ground, so it's kind of might be a little bit of a hassle getting perfectly aligned with it, but you want to be as aligned with the truck as possible. You want to be like kind of smushing it into the connector like that. You want to be concentric with it, and then add your last waypoint. So now I'm going to come up. I can turn my connector back on. Dock to truck is the one we just created. Should see the waypoints. Waypoint 2, I'm going to click on that, and I need to add a timer block. So one more timer block. And this is going to be dock to truck. So when we dock, first thing we want to do is lock the connector and then turn the thrusters off. So then we go back to the dock to truck AI recorder, and for waypoint 2 we want to hit setup action, go to the timer block that is dock to truck, and we're going to hit trigger now. And there's one thing that I forgot to do earlier, which is AI recorder drop off ore. I haven't set anything here, so once we get to waypoint 2, when we drop off the ore, we have to trigger the drop ore timer block. And then we have a return to truck timer block, which we need to go into our drop ore timer block and add that as one of the actions. So return to truck, and this one is going to be start. We're going to let it go for 10 seconds. So let's see if we're missing anything. So we can actually just test this by turning on AI flight. AI recorder, we're just going to hit play and see what happens. And actually, let me go to here while it's thinking. So we want collision avoidance. We're going to turn that off. Precision mode, we want that on. Speed limit, we'll keep it at 10. We can lower the minimum altitude, keep that selected. We're going to lower the max pitch angle to like, maybe we can do 15. Mostly because it's possible that we return to the truck and the truck is at an angle. So let's watch this. So as you can see, first thing it does is go above the base. That makes it so it doesn't hit anything along the way, including the truck. And unfortunately, we can't see the waypoint right now because it's just kind of bugged out. I think maybe, oh no, I have an antenna on this. Maybe we need an antenna on the truck. I don't know if we do or not. So it's going to come over here next. Start descending. And this is where it's important to have the upward facing thrusters. It doesn't want to descend if it doesn't have it. Okay, so now we can look at this. We should see some stuff coming out of that connector over there. There we go. We're seeing some ore come out. Now one of the problems is that it's actually angled a different way than we trained it on. So that's kind of one of the issues with this, which is why we approached, actually we'll see it in a second, but we approached the truck from behind to make sure that it's at a correct angle. Alright, so what should have happened is after about 10 seconds of this doing its thing, it should trigger the other AI recorder. So let's see what happened here. So we have the timer block drop ore. So that should have triggered the return to truck. Okay, so what we don't have in here is the dock to truck AI recorder. So we need to hit play on that one. And we can just do that manually right now. And so same thing, the first thing we should see is this going straight up, trying to get to the altitude of, I guess it doesn't go straight up, but hopefully there's nothing in the way because we've turned the collision avoidance off. And so the way this should work is it should go to the first waypoint high up in the air, the second waypoint, which should be an approach to the truck, approaching from the correct angle so that this ship is at the correct angle when it tries to dock. Okay, so hit the first waypoint. It's coming in for the second one. Okay, so it's hitting its alignment waypoint. And because precision mode is on, it turns to face the direction it's going. So let's cross our fingers and hope this works. Now you can see it's at a critical angle right now, and it's going to turn the thrusters off. Sorry. Alright, so that's how it can go wrong. So what happened there? What happened there is we allowed this to be at a more severe angle than this. So we can fix that a little bit by just making sure that this truck is at a flat angle. And I know it kind of feels like it's cheating a little bit, but for the sake of getting this up and running, we can do it. So there's two things that we can try. The first is moving the truck onto a flat spot. The other thing is we can come to AI flight and turn the max pitch angle down to like 5 or something. And then we're gonna try that one more time. So we're gonna just say AI flight on dock to truck play. Let's watch this. There's also other ways you can do this by, like right now I have it's in a very toppleable shape, where if I were to make it more flat, so if it was in the right spot but the wrong angle and I turned off all the thrusters, it could just seat itself nicely. In this case, it basically just falls over if there's a problem. But if all the angles are correct, then it should just work. And let's see. It does seem like it's still at an angle. Oh, a little better. Great. And it docked. So now the true question is, what will happen if I start doing some mining? Some morning mining. See if we can get this to fill up to 10%. And then see what happens. So we're just mining. Come on, 10%. Yeah, this isn't the best this isn't the best configuration. And you can now see, for some reason, we see the truck's waypoint. Oh, we gotta be close to 10%. So let's see where we're at. Large cargo container ship. So it says its inventory is 74%. So what's happening here? Event controller. Maybe it didn't pass the threshold. The ship's large cargo container is at 86%, even though if I come to... Oh yeah, no, that's correct, 86. Alright, we're going to turn this to 90, which realistically is a better... We're going to say 90%. And we're going to rebuild our wall. Alright. So we should be pretty close to hitting 90%. Oh, and there it goes. So see how it sort of moves up first? That's kind of what we want. Ooh, he's looks pretty heavy. So he's going to go back over there, he's going to drop his cargo off, and then he should come back. In the meantime, I can continue mining. Let's see, our cargo container is 61% full. So let's see what happens if we get this cargo container full. We'll try to get it so that as soon as that other ship comes back, it immediately fills up and leaves again. If we can get it in time. Okay. So let's park. If we look at our large cargo container, it's 100% full. And let's see. Where's our ship? Did it come back yet? Or is it still dropping stuff off? Oh, it just reached this waypoint, so now it's going down. It's going to drop stuff off. And I don't know how much ore comes out in 10 seconds out of a small connector, but we'll see. Actually, we can check that. It's 88% full, so it only dropped off like 2. But that's fine. It means what's going to happen is as soon as it docks up, it's going to take off again. So here it comes in. So I think I'm on level-ish ground. Gonna move it a little bit, which might confuse him a little bit, but we'll see what happens. And it locked. Great. And then it takes off again because it immediately filled up again. Cool. So this system works. There's some things that we could change to make it a little bit better. So right now it only drops off like 2% of its cargo, so it's pretty inefficient. We could either make it wait longer over there, or we could set up another event controller to say, don't leave the spot until you've emptied the cargo container down to 10% maybe. So there's some things we can adjust to make this a little bit better. But that's the basic premise of it. Hopefully that helps anyone who wants to get a system like this set up. And that's it. That's it. I hope that explained everything well. Feel free to ask any questions. And that's it. Great, thanks.